Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright. Oh, you should turn it down because I can hear you.
I did turn it down.
Okay, thanks. We've got Game 2 of Hong Kong Esports vs Midnight Sun. I can still hear it through you. I'm Color with my co-caster, Cold as Fire. And coming out here we have a Hecarim ban and Lulu ban. Both the same bans as last game. Shen also the same as last game from Hong Kong Esports.
Shen's reworked in this game, right?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
So this is old Shen. Kind of awkward that
Someone.
they'd buff Shen when he's already being banned and stuff. That's why he's such a problem right now.
Hecarim ban though, that's interesting.
Yeah, the Hecarim ban. I'm guessing Julian, top laner for Midnight Sun, is a Hecarim main because last game Maple Snow was able to walk all over him with his Nautilus pick. Misfortune ban, and we'll probably see the Gangplank ban by Midnight Sun. And there it is, so I don't expect Rengar to come here. Rise being available, really good pickup. We can go mid or top. And you just farm out to level 9 plus around the mid game. You perma-stun your opponent and your jungler will get a free kill. How do you feel about Rise?
Wait, what?
How do you feel about Rise first pick?
I like it. I don't get to see a lot of Rise play, so I'm excited.
Thumbs up. With that being away, we're probably going to see an Alistar pick up. Kindred as a jungler would be really strong as well. And there's the Alistar hover. I'm going to see if that gets locked in. They picked Trundle as a counter pick to Alistar last time around because they didn't get it. Hong Kong Esports might go for the Trundle themselves, although don't know if Ole plays that. He's a big favorite of Morgana. He can go back to that. Azrael being hovered, switching to Kha'Zix, but Kha'Zix isn't going to get picked.
Would it be Ezreal jungle?
No, they wouldn't put him jungle. They put him mid or bot lane.
Right.
Which usually if your mid laner's taking it in the same pick as your jungler, you wouldn't put it on unless you're trying to trick them into thinking that's going bot. It'd be a fine pick here. Then you have a top lane or mid lane Rise, a mid lane or bot lane Ezreal, and they don't really see what's going on. If you picked your jungler with that, then you have 3 possible flex picks. Or not flex picks, but you have 3 picks that they don't really care about for counter picking. Azrael and Kalista being hovered here. That would give away Azrael mid and Kalista bot lane. And with that, a Rise top. And it does get locked in. I don't like that as their pickups. It gives too much of their champ select away. Midnight Sun would have the counter pick for, like, as the last pick, but you don't need to show that 3 picks in advance. What do you think would lane well against a Rise top?
I actually really don't know. Like I said, I don't see Rise get picked.
They're gonna take the Nautilus, it looks like. That will be going top. If you hook onto a Rise with it, then
Right.
you'll travel to him even if you're snared. And then with your CC following up, you'll be able to trade pretty well. If Kindred were to come up, it's a kill almost every time. But if they're switching that to Kassadin at the last moment, Kassadin can go top against Rise. It's farm out. You shouldn't die because of your shield, and you should be able to jump away, even through the snare. As it's coming down, if you jump at the same time, your jump will complete. But Kassadin with his magic shield, not the greatest against a double 80 carry comp.
Was that a window? Do they have a window between them?
Nope, that's glass in front of them that the camera's looking through.
Oh, okay.
Tristan as the AD carry will add a lot of turret pressure. Midnight Sun should look for a lane swap, but if they were doing that, I think a better top laner than Kassadin would have been picked up. Rek'Sai is a jungler, and Thresh being picked up for HKE. Rek'Sai, great as early game, scales pretty well into late game as a tank. And although Morgana was Oli's better champion, I feel, and would be a better pickup, they go with Thresh, and might get burned here if that Lissandra does get locked in. Switching to Tom, I don't like that because that will make Kassadin mid lane, and Ezreal should be able to walk over that pretty well. And they're just flicking, so I'm gonna wait. They actually do lock in the Malphite. I mean, if you can land your ult onto Ezreal and Callista, the attack speed slow will hurt. You're really tanky, should be able to kill them.
Malphite mid?
No, it's Malphite top.
Right.
Kassadin mid.
Eyes?
Yep. You can build Abyssal Scepter pretty early. Avoid, just ignore most of his damage. They don't have
really?
they don't have a carry jungle like Graves.
Right.
So the ganking should make this a pretty safe lane for Malphite.
Is Malphite a really good pick against Ryze in general?
Not really, Malphite likes armor. Rises AP.
Right.
But as a general rule, Malphite is a safe laner to pick. I just don't like picking Malphite as your main engage when you have all your targets can jump away. If you go onto Rise, you can CC him down for a long time, but he gets pretty tanky. If you built an Hourglass, you could just use that to counter the Malphite ult. Hourglass is really expensive though, so that won't happen till later. Who do you think's gonna win this one? Just team comp wise. No comment?
I don't know. I feel like Website can snowball his lanes pretty early. And they get ahead. As long as Cassian doesn't snowball and doesn't get any kills on his own.
It should be a pretty bad game for Kassadin. We don't see him much anyway, and then this isn't an ideal team to pick him into.
How do you feel about Kindred jungle? Mind you, she is the jungler, but
yeah.
Do you think she's a good pick?
It's a pretty good pick. Your ultimate can just win a fight for you. You can stall it so much for your team to arrive at a fight or flank, get good positioning, and so forth.
Right.
In Korea, we saw KT score playing Kindred. Would bait out a team in River by himself when they ever used all their cooldowns, and then his team would just come in and clean up every time. Probably won't see something like that happening in this game, but it shows how strong of a ability her ult can be.
Right.
The problem I see with late game, Kassadin won't be able to do anything to Rise. He'll jump in and get stunned and get bursted down by everyone else. And we can see Chili's on the Ezreal here, already forcing him underneath this tower on the first wave. having a magic shield doesn't help much against an 80 carry. A flash coming forward by Ole. Hook
Is
lands
this the
on
first blood?
Skull's going to get away here. Ignite went down, so both summoners used by Thresh. Skull actually countered both his summoners too. We don't usually see an all-in level 1 like that.
Do you think it potentially would have worked?
Well, even as it didn't get a kill, it still worked.
Right.
Because
Well,
it
true.
forces onto the tower now. Alistar can't jump in. Like, he can't do
Right.
any flash pulverizes and then headbutt you back into your turret now. So it removes a lot of kill pressure from the bot lane.
Okay.
Rek'Sai and Thresh are actually going to go for an invade here. Just getting some wards down. There's a ward there to spot Dinter. And Willow just, I don't know, dancing there. He couldn't have been seen by Tremor Sense because he was standing still. And even if he was spotted by Tremor Sense, it doesn't give vision. A bit of a wasted VM anyway. I'm not sure what Kindred's trying to do in this mid lane. But apparently, get cast in some farm. Chili's winning this lane really badly if that's what they're trying to do. Actually, get hit up by a stun here. That's going to be a lot of damage onto him. Exhaust comes down and doesn't fall, but has to use his flash. That, I guess, settling in mid lane long enough will make a gank work. Your thoughts on that?
Why did Ezreal get so close that he had to use his sums?
I have no
What
idea.
was he thinking?
I think he forgot that it was 1v2 and that Kindred had red buff.
He forgot that it was 1v2.
I have no idea what went through his head. Maybe it's because he's not an 80 carry.
Right.
We'll blame that. Sure. Yeah,
Maybe he forgot that Kindred had a dash.
So, first blue buff going over to Ezreal, we usually see Rek'Sai's hold the blue until 5 minutes and then give it to their mid laner. With the tier onto Ezreal now, it'll make his stacking a lot quicker.
Right.
Mission has a blasting one, so probably building Rod of Ages out of that. Went for the more AP up front just to trade better. Power Null of tier should make that lane more or less equal now, especially if Kindred continues what she's doing. Rise with the CS lead on top, not that big. Actually gonna get erased here on this wave. Kindred seen in mid lane, so Rise knows she's coming up. And bot lanes, despite their early aggression level 1, Midnight Sun's bot lane took the Grom camp, and when they got back to lane, Hong Kong Esports went and took the Golem camp. What do you think's gonna break this stalemate?
Which lane?
For all of them, like the 0-0 score, what's gonna happen to like make some action? Is it gonna be a gank? Is there gonna be teleports following up? What lane's gonna be ganked? Actually,
I think bot lane's gonna be ganked.
Hong Kong Esports playing really aggressive on this wave. A lot of zoning it with the freeze.
Right. I don't know, we see Rek'Sai's looking for a gank.
Yep. Pain just jumps away, but Skull is caught out now. Ole with the flash flay hook is going to make Alistar fall down here. Ren misses, Ignite goes down, and Thresh picks that one up. Azrael comes through but doesn't hit anyone. Cassin had rotated for that, but walks back to mid lane. The problem was on that, actually, as I say that, Rek'Sai finds out Kindred. The problem on that was the way Tristana jumped. If he jumped further into the river, they would have had a 4v3 and won the fight. She jumped to her turret, which separated her and Alistar.
Right.
So I guess that's what it was. You were right. A bot lane gank. So Julian on the now fight maxed his Q against Rise because of the range difference.
Right.
Went Corrupting Potion to deal with the mana, but now he can trade from range.
That's something I'll have to try.
Yeah. A lot of times, like if you were to play Malphite as a mid laner,
Right.
you'll start with your Q and then build Rod of Aegis or Nomicon and just spam it as much as you can because you'll have the blue buff as well in mid lane. It's a lot of poke to come down that's really not avoidable. It'll follow them. All they can do is stay out of range.
Yes, that's how on-hit abilities work.
Yes. And actually, Skull getting hit up
That
again here.
Ezreal.
Gonna fall down to Godquai. So the one problem with maxing Q, while it does create a slow,
Right.
your E has an attack speed slow on it, and is AoE, so in team fights it will be better.
Makes sense.
Kindred's Ghost don't know what to do in here.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Well, once the dragon goes, they'll be able to walk by. Or not. Never mind. They still don't know what to do.
Those website gains.
And actually, Thresh lands a hook onto Wolala. What a weird name.
I don't think that's appropriate to say.
I don't want to cast this jungler anymore until he changes his name. Kane jumps onto Godquai but loses the trade when the run comes down.
Oh.
And Dinter back in this bot lane. Gonna walk away. It's pink ward, so he knows he wasn't seen. But
That website's pitching a tent. Oh, that's Dutch. Just kidding. Wow!
Rek'Sai walked a bit away. Ole gonna walk back towards Rek'Sai and cheat a bit to see who can come in. Midnight Sun able to clear the pink ward. And despite Hong Kong Esports missing their mid laner from last season, it's pretty well how we'd expect this matchup to have gone. Alistar jumps onto Thresh, but Rek'Sai is here, so they're going to start running away. Looks like Skull's going to fall down again. He isn't even level 6. Wally misses a hook onto Tristana, so she's safe. And the support's 0-3 right now. Wow, actually, Kindred jumps jumps underneath the turret, uses her ult to save her. Doesn't actually live herself, and Mission's going to pick up the kill and jump away. So 1-for-1 off of a flash under turret. Dinter's following. No man onto Mission. This could be a 2-for-1. Dinter's going to get his E up pretty soon. Gets enough mana to Rift Walk away. I think that's actually the timer on Rift Walk expiring. Castin's ult costs more mana every time you use it.
Right.
So once the timer expired, he had enough mana to use it. They're going to take Rift Herald here. We'll see who they give it to.
Hopefully the jungler.
Yeah, as you know, I like giving it to the jungler, but this is before people figured it out. So going to go to Rise. This was the first week of the season, right? So 3 weeks ago. People didn't realize what it did. Flash 5 able so to block or to get out of the way of Skull's headbutt.
Did Riot know?
Riot thought it was for minion pushing. It just turned out that it was too weak for that, as we learned in this week of the games and next week. Ole is here in case their dive comes. He can lantern Rise away, but Rise is just going to go right on top of Tristana. Ezreal comes in for a lot of damage. Alistar is forced to ult away. And last year when we saw Ezreal being played mid a lot,
Right.
this is why he was a power pick. You could ult the side lanes. Not for farm, per
Of
se.
course.
You'd use it as poke onto the enemy champions, and then your laner would have a free 400
Give
damage
him
on
an
them.
advantage. Right.
Flash hook or flash flay hook onto Pain. He's gonna fall down. Dinter with the flash knock up and whatever his Q is called.
This
Teleport
Thresh
by
play
Malphite.
is definitely encouraging me to play some more Thresh.
Well, that's always a good sign. Julian teleports in, can't find an ultimate, and has to just walk away, losing half his health. Rise with
Have
boots
we
of
seen
swiftness,
Malphite
can't.
ult? Wait, did he
No,
just ult?
he didn't ult. He walked
Oh,
in,
okay.
couldn't find anyone close enough to ult to, and just walked away. But double boots of swiftness coming onto Hong Kong esports, so they're going to be able to chase away. Ezreal missing his ult takes a lot of damage in return. Going to be forced out of this lane. He's Ezreal, so he thinks he can max range Q. Gets the cannon's going to recall now. Maple Snow with this Rift Herald buff should be able to take this turret for free. Pretty good defense, 1v3.
Look at that Rift buff, though.
And it's gone now, so the minions aren't as happy to kill this turret.
It will still fall.
Unable to get a bounced wave, so he's going to clear this as quickly as he can. Kindred's coming for him, and he's out of mana. This could be a kill in the top lane. Rise actually getting his ultimate from the fast clear is able to speed buff himself out of it. On top of the speed buff from his ult, he has swiftness, so he would be able to outrun Kindred anyway.
Well, it's like he's ghosting, man.
Hook on to Tristana misses there. Had to use her W to get out of it. So, double flay landing onto them.
Oh,
A lot
but
of damage
Flay.
coming down. And it's safe to say that Pain and Skull are really afraid of this lane right now.
As they should be.
Hook actually lands on the Pain this time. Flay does land. Pain lives
Ooh,
barely.
Thunderlords.
Q just misses. Dinter behind, looking for something, but sees Kindred there, doesn't want to dive that. Ezreal just misses. And there should be at least some damage coming out of the turret. They're going to have to back up as Rek'Sai's too far off. Alistar's flash isn't up just yet, so no chance of being hit under a turret at the moment. We'll buff over to mission. Has his Rod of Age and Sheen complete, so definitely able to fight this Ezreal right now. Ezreal going strangely to complete Muramana first. It does make your stacking faster, as you can hit or gain stacks off auto attacks. But it as a fighting tool, it's a lot weaker until it's transformed. He's also delaying Iceborne Gauntlet for what looks to be a Hex Drinker just to survive this lane. Malphite with Abyssal Scepter will mean more damage coming in. Rise unable to get the snare off onto mission as he ults away. Julian doesn't have teleport up. They could rush this dragon as they're going for right now. So, Casson as an assassin, will he be able to have an impact with his team being down 3k gold? If they were to fight right now, or does he have to go off and split push? As I said, Maple Snow does land the stun onto Pain. Skull gonna fall down as the stun locks or snare locks coming in as well. Tries to make it back to the turret just for some more damage onto them. Ren comes in and he's gonna fall. It's not this bot lane stage. 6 of their 7 deaths from the bot lane. You know, I had a bot lane like this just the other game.
which I was a part of. Not so proudly, as it may seem.
So, Midnight Sun, not wanting to rotate for a 2v5. Going to take out the mid turret, but they lost 2 turrets bought for that trade. They're going to rotate for this blue buff, see if they can pick that up and then take top turret, ideally. I don't think they'll be able to make it there in time, although this blue buff did go down pretty quickly.
And Tustin has Sheen.
Yeah, this turret should fall. There's a big wave there. It's only Rise coming up.
Why is not even gonna make it in time?
Yeah, that's a lot of damage coming down. Having your AD carry in a jungler to push turrets does help. Dinter teleports in with his ult, but no fight coming as Midnight Sun back away. That was a pretty good reaction by Midnight Sun. They traded 2 turrets for 2 turrets, but they got a blue buff out of it. They're going to lose Rift Herald after all that, unfortunately. And right here, they're going to give it to what looks like Dinter, but they could give that to Ole there. He's unlikely to die being a support. They don't want to focus him. And he needs the move speed buffs to walk around and land these flash plays. That's just him being the playmaker at the moment, not really anything other than that. Mission's getting hit up. Callista ults to follow over the wall. He jumps over the next wall, and Ole lands a hook to jump over. Ezreal picks it up with his ult. I'd cry if I was Mission right there. He flashes it over one wall, jumps over the next one, and they still caught him. Ole's landing or trying to hook Tristana there, doesn't land it. Takes about half his health, but this turret shouldn't be able to be held. They actually gave the buff to Godquai. Hellstone Kite, and the damage buff on it does do well with your AD carry. HKA just going to rotate to this mid lane. Teleport does land in, but that's going to be Mission falling down again. Not what you want. Flash pulverized headbutt by Skull lands onto 2. More damage coming, and this could be an inhib going down. Rise thought that Willila was going to fall, and they both backed away there. Her ult comes down. Rek'Sai is still chasing. Ezreal Arcane shifts back into the lane to help push this. Dinter does pick it up with the Prey Seeker. And what just happened? They're down by so much gold, and they just took a fight that had no reason to take. They already lost the turret. Looks like this game's going to be a pretty big stomp. Do you think there's something that they can do to come back? Rek'Sai, or Ezreal catching Malphite forces the ult, so that's down. Ezreal comes in, picks up the kill anyway, and he's going to have his Iceborne Gauntlet once he recalls as they clear the rest of Midnight Sun's jungle. Falling asleep?
Try not to. I'm just really amazed at this Flash.
Ole's actually a Korean playing in Taiwan here. He went over to Brazil, and then after Brazil came over here.
Why'd you switch?
Money, job.
Right.
The Brazilian organizations will only hire Koreans to win. So if you don't win that season, then they get rid of you. Anyway, looks like Ole's caught out here despite his big plays. Ezreal comes in, does a lot of damage. This will looks to be... They're not going to chase the Malphite, but 2 kills for 1 there. And their Thresh looked like they were the one caught out.
I'm going to stop playing AD as real man.
And actually, Mission falls down as well. The exhaust came down to Slum. Couldn't get to the wall to ult away. Exhaust also lowers your resistances, so a bit of penetration coming in with the exhaust.
Do you suggest exhaust on Ezreal mid?
It's only because he's playing against an assassin.
Right.
Most mages, like you have to like think of him like a mage because he casts spells, right? And he's not like diving in.
Most of the time we see heal on Ezreal mid, don't we?
Yeah, because it's an AD carry, so it gives you the move
Of
speed you can
course.
kite.
Right.
But like if you were playing Brand against Caston, you'd probably take Exhaust as well, or like a Fizz.
So
More commonly, a
any
Fizz we'd see.
okay.
Like Exhaust is just good against assassins. They use their burst really quickly. If you
Of
can
course.
exhaust their whole burst, then they don't have anything left. The idea of playing versus an assassin is just to not die, and then eventually they'll die. Hence why he bought Hex Drinker so early. Callista also has her Hex Drinker. Azrael completed it into a mod, I was about to say that's what he's going to buy next. Well, he lands a hook, but he doesn't really want to do anything there. 1v3. Throws down another pink ward, just declare it this. 1. And my neck just cracked. Did you hear that?
No.
Okay. I turned my head and it just like, ow. Tristana able to hold out these minions while Hong Kong Esports is afraid to dive. Once they all get there, it shouldn't be too bad. Azrael had to pick up blue buff, so he's a bit a ways away. Minions are pushing onto their Nexus turrets at the moment. So had that hook landed, they probably would have dived. Now you have Ezreal there, there's going to be a ton of poke coming in. Maple Snow's in mid lane, just pushing that up. Should a fight break out bot lane, he's easily able to run down there. And that one cannon minion's stuck, not attacking the turret. That's a bit unfortunate for them. Rek'Sai jumps in, lands onto Pain, gets the knockup, he jumps away anyway. Kindred ults saving all of them. Kalista ults, Thresh in. Actually hasn't ulted yet. Thresh just jumped in. This will be an ace coming out here as, actually no, Mission jumps away. Willala gets snared by Rise and does fall down on the fountain. Hong Kong Esports take a pretty easy 2-0 there. Your thoughts on the game?
I think like I predicted, bot lane was gonna get ganked, and then they just snowballed from that
Yeah.
on.
How does Midnight Sun learn from a game like that where your bot lane feeds and then everything goes wrong from there? Do you think Kindred could have warded for bot lane?
Well, she was trying to with Scuttle,
Does she
but I
sit
think
behind bot lane or sit around bot lane more looking for counter ganks, or does she try to snowball a different lane?
I think she tried to snowball mid lane, and the first kill on Ezreal was Ezreal's own mistake. But after that, we saw Kindred flash over the wall trying to
Under
kill
turret,
him.
died herself,
But
so that's not worth it.
but
But
did she gank top lane?
they did the 3-man top where Rice just held it
Right,
with the buff, and then
right,
once the rest of Hong Kong Esports showed up, they all died.
right.
Or
And Ryze took the first turret top
yeah,
lane,
so that one didn't work out for them.
giving a gold advantage to blue side.
What do you think was the mistake that cost them the game? We see a replay coming out here with Thresh making a big play onto skill. This is the one where Pain jumped the wrong way around and center them out. We see Maple Snow
Maybe
flashing.
some miscommunication between the bottom lane,
Yeah.
ADC and Alistar.
All right.